Hi, I'm Travis. This is Handcrafted Overlanding. Due to an unfortunate event, this video was supposed to be camping. Unfortunately, didn't end up going this weekend. So I figured I'd take a few minutes and just kind of talk about what I do to prepare for a camping weekend. Now, as you can see, there seems to be a lot of stuff here, but yeah, it really kind of is. Let's face it. When camping, the most important thing you can have is a list. I have taken the liberty of making a list from everything that I found online. I didn't find any one good source for lists. I always felt like they were missing bits and pieces. So what that's taught me is the list is yours. It needs to be customizable. It needs to be things that you will end up bringing. I'm going to make this list available for download. It's just on an Excel spreadsheet, so you can modify it. I'll also produce it as a PDF as well, in case somebody wants it like that. Now, there's certain aspects of this list that may apply to you, and there's some that won't. Such as, when I go camping, I'm the cook. I'm a big guy, I'm the cook. So with that comes different portions of those lists. There's two aspects when being prepared for camping. The first one is making sure you have everything, and the second one is making sure you can get to everything that in the order that you wanted to. Personally, I end up using a couple of totes. I keep all of my camping stuff, all of my bedding stuff, basically tent stuff in one, everything else in the other. It's really not complex. And I know you look here and you're like, oh, well, you must have a lot of stuff. And you have a fancy rotomolded ice chest. You don't need it. You can actually do this on a budget with inexpensive stuff. That's how I've been doing it. That's where I started. I have a standard ice chest, Coleman ice chest, that I picked up for $20. And it lasts an entire weekend. These are a lot fancier. These will last you a lot longer. Do you need them? No, you don't. Remember, you're not looking for cheap. You're looking for an expensive. So take your time. Know what your angle is and see if you can get there. If you can't, sometimes an intermediary purchase is necessary. Other factors are, what do you intend on doing out there? Now, when I go out, I do a lot of filming. And with that, I have a drone. So I have to make sure that all that stuff is taken into account. And again, it goes back to my list. Because last time I went, I took a drone, forgot the memory card. Completely forgot about that. So I had to pull the memory card out of my GoPro here and had to use that to do some of that filming. So even with a list, sometimes you'll miss things. And things that are on your list may not always, you may not always be bringing. Like I said, I'm the cook. My next camping trip, I'm not cooking. So I'm not bringing any of my cooking equipment. I'm not bringing the ice chest. I'm not bringing my stove. I'm not bringing my pans. I am, however, bringing a spork. Can't remember which video series it was. But one of the videos that they have was they give everybody a spork. You're in charge of your spork. Don't worry about your plate. Keep track of your spork. I kind of like that idea. So I bought 2 sporks and bean cookie. And it's usually just me and Damien. But when we first started, I go, here's your spork. Don't lose it. Damien has one now, so I have a spare. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through my totes real quick. And again, not all this is going to apply to you. You might look at it and go, I don't need that. You may not. So that's good. Anyways, let's get through these. As I mentioned, I have my totes broken down a little bit into what I feel that I need in them. I'm going to eventually build a list for each one of the totes to cover what I will end up, what I should have in there. because as you go through your camping trip, things don't get back into the right totes, they end up in the truck, whatever the case may be. Having a proper packing slip will prevent you from going through the slip and going, oh yeah, I know my camping stove's in there, I know there's some 1 pound propane tanks. The idea is not to just assume, it's to verify. And I always recommend a day or two before your trip to verify what you have. That way, the day of the trip or the night of the trip, you're not running around with your hair on fire because you can't find any stores that open at 9:30 at night that have 1 pound propane tanks in there. These are just cheapy totes that I got from one of the big box stores. I'm always going to recommend, I don't care how many sleeping bags that you bring, always bring a nice blanket. You can go under you, you can go on top of you, you can go around you. Bring it. It's awesome. This one happens to be a full wool blanket. Absolutely love it. Keeps me warm. It's really soft. Now you may notice a trend. Some of my gear, most of my sleeping gear, is from a company called Teton. They make really good stuff. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I just think they make good stuff. When it comes to a sleeping bag, it is not a one size fits all. I'm not just talking about physical size, I'm also talking about temperature. Plan your sleeping bag to your environment. If you're going out camping during the winter, a summer sleeping bag designed for 32 degrees is not going to keep you warm. Believe it or not, a sleeping bag that's rated to 0 degrees may not even keep you warm. The rating is not how low it goes while you'll be comfy. The rating is going to be how low can the temperature go and keep you alive. This happens to be a 0 degree. I have 3 different sleeping bags, and it depends on the what part of the season. It's not cold out. It was going to get probably about 40 out. This would have been great because I could have laid it out. I could unzip it, keep me a little bit cooler. During the summer, this does not come with me. Coming back around to gear, you may want to buy the cheapest, or you may want to buy the most expensive, but try to find what's optimal for you. You don't need, if you want to go camping once a year, you don't need a $300 sleeping bag. This one was $110, and it has a cool feature that they sell a mirror version of this that you can zip them into 2. You can zip 2 into 1 and sleep with someone that your sweetie. So, good sleeping bag, always bring with you. I'm going camping with a pup. I actually have a moving blanket that I lay down on the floor of the tent for him to sleep on. That's from a cheap box store. The cheap tool store, you know what I'm talking about. Pillows. You can bring a normal pillow. You can bring a deflating pillow. This was inexpensive. You know, a lot of the stuff you can find on Amazon. And my recommendation to that is, again, buy inexpensive, don't buy cheap. If you think you're going to use it, then go ahead and get it. You're going to have ground tent. Tarp. Nothing is worse than having a dirty tent. When you get it back home, you have to unpack it, your bag, just bring a tarp. Keeps bugs away, keeps dirt away. Now, in the series of a tarp, camping stakes. These are great for your tent, great for your awnings, and great for, if you're a really big jerk, nailing it into a tree and then hanging your garbage off of it. I'm not going to say I have done that, but I'm also not going to say I haven't. Now for me, being a big guy, I use a CPAP. You guys may remember me installing that secondary battery into the pickup truck. I have extension cables on cigarette lighters, and I have a white splitter. I have my cabling for that. I have all my tote. I don't keep this with the CPAP because I don't need it in the house. I need it when I camp, so it stays in the tote. Why splitter? You can plug in a battery charger or a phone charger to it, or what I do, especially on the warm days, a little fan. This thing's noisy. It drives me up the wall, but it moves air. So, and I think I spent $15 on it. It even has an oscillating feature. How cool is that? Again, you're looking for inexpensive, you're not looking for cheap. I always bring a little bit of duct tape. Doesn't matter the brand. This one just happened to be a small one and just goes in the tote. Duct tape. Light. These like as of today, these are spend enough money at the cheapy tool store and get one for free priced right now. They run off AA batteries. They're great for hanging around the campsite. I carry a couple on me because they're cheap. For my tent, I killed the batteries on it. Yes, I did. This is just a hanging light. Hangs from the little center hook. And then it has 3 settings, you know, low, medium, high. Do you need it? I don't, but I bring it because I use it. What else do I have in here? Oh, paracord. Bring paracord. Why did I bring paracord? Maybe gotta tie something down. Again, the type of camping that I do doesn't usually mesh 100% with like site camping or backpack camping. So these items may be different for you, but I've had to tie stuff down to make sure that they didn't fly away. This is not the interesting tip. Let me go ahead and grab the other one. In here, 2 things that might surprise you. I bring a set of camping pots. I bring 1-pound propane tanks. I don't drink coffee, but every once in a while you need to heat up coffee. So you bring things that you, and the planning for this isn't just about what you need. If you're going in a group, which I highly suggest you do, assign roles to everybody. And as I said, my role's cooking. Mostly because I like to cook. Well, I like to eat, so I feel bad when I make other people feel bad about, oh, well, I pack normal amount of food. Well, I'm not a normal amount of guy, so that's why I'm the way I am. I know it's wasteful, but I also bring paper bowls, paper plates. I got these plate strengtheners that don't quite fit the plates right, but they work. Because the last thing you want to do is be sitting there eating your steak or something and it fall apart. And then, of course, you gotta get yourself. Remember, you're out with wilderness. When you're done, clean up. More cooking utensils. This is kind of like my biggest tool that I use. I use the pots very infrequently. I use this the most. I paid, I don't know, $8, $10 over at Ross for this thing. I've already killed some of the Teflon coating because it's banging around here. It is what it is. Standard silverware. Your best friend are going to be tongs. Just heads up. And if you're going to be making eggs, your best friend's going to be spatulas. So that's what I bring. Let's see, what else do I bring? I also bring cutting board, griddle, a standard propane stove from Coleman. Now let's talk a little bit about personal care while we're out in the wilderness. Just because we're out with the out in the dirt doesn't mean that we gotta smell like it. I recommend bringing some wet wipes. Wipe yourself when you're done. Wipe yourself when you're stanky. If you're not bringing a solo shower, which I haven't, because I don't have a setup for it that I like yet, give yourself a good little wipe down. It'll take the edge off. That's all I'm saying. Then in here, I also carry a life straw. Mostly because you never know what's gonna happen to you. I've never had to use it, but got it if I need it. And they're usually inexpensive. Now, these are decidedly not cooking. They carry an axe, carry a hatchet, and carry a folding hacksaw. The reason why I carry all those is sometimes you got to take a limb off. Sometimes you need to cut around for wood. Not saying you should, I'm just saying that if the wood that you brought was too big, you might need to cut it down. Sometimes you need to split it. I don't leave home without these. I very rarely use the hatchet, but I have always used my axe. It's not an expensive axe. I spent $35 for it. There's a great YouTube video, YouTuber, Wranglestar. You may not agree with his views, not my call. He's been in forestry firefighting. Dude knows his sharp stuff. He knows his chainsaws, he knows his axes. Go check him out. I bought this on his recommendation. This is a cold steel. I don't know if this helps anyone, but that's it's a 90 TA. American Tomahawk Company. I gotta say, I've swung it, I've beat it. It's nice. I've chipped the blade. So I also carry ferro rod. You never know when you're gonna need it. The last thing in here I bought, and I kind of like, are these titanium chopsticks. I got a whole set of them, and they work. I cook with them. I eat with them sometimes. Yeah. That's really what's covered in my tote. I actually carry a few other things. Just to run through this list really quick. You know, I have a list for kitchen, for sleeping, things for the vehicle. Now, I got a winch on my truck, so I bring things like a kinetic rope, D-rings, tree saver, snatch block. I got a 30-foot strap. I also bring my tie downs. Am I going to be tying stuff down? I don't know. Let's bring them. I got my trailer hitch. I air up and down using a CO2 tank, a high flow CO2 tank. I don't use an air compressor. I happen to score a deal on that. If you don't score a deal on it, an air compressor will work just fine. Air hose for that, and then I have some tire deflators that one of my good friends purchased for me. Communications. Always got to remember to make sure that you're communicating with someone so they know where you are. Whether it be CB, ham, two-way radio. I think Midland makes a very nice one that uses GMRS or MRS. I don't remember. And I happen to have a sat messenger. I don't have it here with me, but basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a two-way communication with satellite. It's made by Garmin. It's called an InReach. I like it. It was expensive to buy, but I can send messages out to say, here I am, I'm safe, or everything's hit the fan, send help. You may be going with your furry friend. Don't forget a pet-specific list. Last time I went out, I forgot my dog's bed. He didn't really miss it, but I forgot it, and I felt bad. The biggest list here that I have is the miscellaneous, because they don't really quite go in the tote. They don't really fit into categories, but just to run through this real quick. Don't forget a folding chair. You're going to need a chair. You're going to want to sit down, and you're not going to be sitting down on the ground every single night. I bring this fire pit over here. It's a 55-gallon drum that's cut down. I actually found that fits a Weber grill. I'll put a link in the description. Just regular grill top that I can go get over to the big box store. Then of course we got the Agit axe, hatchet. I have a sharpening stone in here. I have my chainsaw listed because every once in a while the trails that we hit, you need to cut it down. I also carry a kukri on my bag that I keep in the cab of the truck. If you haven't seen a kukri, I don't have it out here. So this is a kukri. It's nothing fancy. This used to be sold at Big Five. Pretty much everyone makes them. Fiskars makes them. They all have different sorts of curves. I found that I like this one a lot because it's ridiculously sharp from the factory, holds an edge really well, and has a lot of meat to it. So when you're swinging it, you can get those branches off pretty well. I can get like 1.5 inch branches taken off of this thing. This stays in the truck because, as some of you have seen, every once in a while you just kind of run into branches that you need to hop out and hack down and then get back in the truck. Anyways, going back to the pack for the weather, and that's something really you have to do. Is when you pack for the weather, understand where you're going, do some planning around that. If you're going to the mountains in summer, it may be 100 degrees where you are. It could be 60 degrees max up there, and it could be 20 degrees at night. Learn to pack for what you're doing. When it gets really cold, I pack a 20-pound propane tank. I got a fancy standoff that I can put a propane lantern on the top of. A lot of people bring LEDs. A lot of people bring propane. I like propane. I like the sound of propane. The hissing reminds me of camping when I was younger, so I bring the propane. And then have a good flashlight, a headlamp, matches, fire starter. Fat sticks are really good. It's basically wood kindle soaked in wax. I actually make some fire starters, and if anyone's interested, I'll show you how I do it. It's really not complex. I'm also going to recommend bringing a good, sturdy knife. I'm not talking my pocket knife, although this is a good knife. I'm talking like, let's see if it's over here. I mean, a good solid knife that you can abuse. I bring this. I also have a regular point on one version of this. They're not expensive, but this was worth, I think it was $15. It was worth every dang penny that I paid for it. There's the brand for you. Not even going to try to pronounce that. The last few things that I want to point out that I've forgotten many times that I don't want anyone to forget. Bring sunscreen. I'm a fair-skinned lad. I will burst into flames if it gets too hot. Bring sunscreen. Bring bug spray. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are like, or that think that the candles work. Hey, you know what? If it works for you, bring it. Don't even worry about if it's if people say it doesn't work for them, no matter. This is your camping list. This is what you're bringing for yourself. First aid kit. There is a blue packaged first aid kit on Amazon for $14. It has tons of bandages and it's great to have for little cuts and scrapes. It is not a trauma kit. I am not claiming to be building one of those, nor do I have one. Go look them up online. There's a great YouTube channel called Overland Bound. They actually have an entire series on it. Dude is a professional EMT or emergency doctor. Anyways, he's a lot more qualified than I am. Go take a look at his stuff. But bumps and scrapes, they're $14. Keep one in every vehicle. It's probably not a bad idea. And then a hat. Bring a hat. Whether it's a ball cap, big brim, just bring a hat. Also, last two that I completely forgot. Bring a multi-tool. Multi-tools are fantastic. I have a Leatherman. I love it. It was worth every single penny that my mom spent on it for me. and then a fire extinguisher. Because sometimes everything just goes sideways. You need to try to do your best. We got to keep the forests from catching on fire. So let's make sure that we be safe, be smart, and yeah, if you start something, try to put it out. That's my opinion, at least. Use best judgment, please. Going back to the list. Clothing. Again, pack for the weather that you're expecting. For me, I use a CPAP. You may have medications. Do not forget them. Update the list to make sure you include that, because the last thing you need to do is be out on the trail and realize, oh crap, I forgot my insulin. Not a good time. I have my camera stuff. And then, last but not least, if you are the cook, plan a meal list. Plan every single meal, plan snacks. If you are not the cooking, if someone else is cooking for your group, plan snacks. Plan snacks. I can't say that enough. I have been on trails where I've started gotten my blood sugar's gone too low because I got up too late and I threw everything in the truck and I didn't have breakfast and I just didn't have any snacks and my hands were shaking. Plan snacks. Also, get yourself a good water bottle. Something that's dual insulated. I like ice in mine, so I really like mine dual insulated. Keep it in your truck. Have easy access to water, either in the back of your vehicle or another thermos that you can pour water out of into your smaller container. Those are kind of my feelings and what I do to prep. Again, I go through this entire list 2 or 3 days beforehand. This list is not 100% up to date. I know that I'm missing socks on my list. I know that I'm missing other tools off my list. I don't have I don't have my fire extinguisher packed in one of my totes. That would have been bad. Anyways, the list is a living, breathing document. You're going to use it. You're going to forget something. You're going to want to update that list. So the next time you go out, it's more and more, repetitious, and you're spending less time thinking about all this crap and more time thinking about this stuff. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope this kind of gave you an idea of how I get prepped and ready for camping. Yeah. Thanks so much, and I look forward to camping soon. Unfortunately, won't be for probably another month. Anyways, thanks so much. Have a great day.